given the background of people on the call, which is probably pretty varied, can you give us some basic background about FHIR to set off the rest of the discussion? You know, talk about the basic data model, how the FHIR API works, and the architecture of FHIR applications, so we have some context for the rest of the discussion.
Yeah, I'll do this real quickly. FHIR stands for Fast Healthcare Interoperability Resources. So these, you can think of these resources, there's a resource for a patient, there's a resource for a practitioner, there's a resource for observations. And those resources, then we put those together as modular components, kind of like you think of tables if you're a relational database person. Then we assemble those into working systems and create, as I said, we kind of can use that FHIR resource in a variety of contexts. And different than previous standards in the healthcare world, we really think of FHIR as a data model and as a database server. So we have database servers. And if you were to wanted to learn about FHIR, you go to the FHIR website and you have a list. Here's a list of all the FHIR resources.
Starting with FHIR as a mechanism for data exchange is really not a bad first step for the industry as a whole.
Right, agreed. Can you talk a little bit more about that, then your specific ways that you're using FHIR for exchange of patient data for your customers via the API?
Sure, absolutely. If we look at a high-level view of how we might view our current environment, if you look at on the left side, we have individual systems that were built to handle their own data and the exchange of data. Yes, I included a fax machine because many times we have custom ways, even paper-based ways of exchanging data. When we add things like you see on the right-hand side, where patients would like to get more access to their data, we'd like to exchange it between healthcare systems. When FHIR enters the picture, the first thing that we think of is using FHIR for data exchange. So we might think in terms of FHIR enabling those current systems. And if we look at that from a block diagram level, from what does that mean to my existing systems, my existing enterprise products, more often than not, you take the approach to add a FHIR API next to or on top of, or however you like to think of it, your current system. There are FHIR servers that, even open source FHIR servers that you can get, deploy in your environment, and then map your current data to FHIR and expose it, is the term we use, via a FHIR API. And this does a couple of things. From a regulatory point of view, this can check the box. This can get you in a position to say, I have health records, I'm making them available via FHIR API. We might talk in a few minutes about the other things that need to go around a FHIR API. This is a good start.
Everybody here has talked about using FHIR for data exchange and innovation. And at Green Room, one of the things that we really push is leveraging the standards not only for interoperability or exchange of data, but for the opportunity to innovate, which ultimately becomes an opportunity, a business opportunity for the vendors, because now they can be attached to the EHRs and whatnot and have different kind of exposure, but also the opportunity then to innovate in the way that you care for patients. Can you talk a little bit more about that in your organization?
Of course, I have a slide for that. We are so excited about this. Just again, not just about the regulatory compliance and possibly additional efficiencies. This really is about innovation. So we have internal DevOps teams, we have analytics and data science teams. If we can get them better access, easier access to pre-modeled longitudinal and streaming data, start centralizing that at scale, then they can develop things once, they can productize it, they can sell it to other FHIR customers, they can roll it out to other parts of our organization more efficiently. Just a ton of value, even just with internal development.